everything at 62, your home, your savings, your sense of security, all because of a divorce you never saw coming. That's what happened to Linda, a woman who thought her golden years would be filled with comfort and joy. Then, life threw her a curveball. Her husband of 35 years walked away, leaving her with nothing but a broken heart and a pile of bills. Sounds heartbreaking, right? But here's the twist. Something as simple as Social Security spousal benefits became her lifeline, pulling her out of financial ruin. Stick around to hear Linda's story. It's a roller coaster of loss, struggle, and a comeback that'll leave you inspired. Linda Thompson was 62, living in a cozy suburban home in Ohio, with a garden she loved and a retirement plan she'd built with her husband, Mark. They'd saved for years, dreaming of road trips and quiet evenings together. Linda wasn't rich, but she felt secure, like she'd built a sturdy safety net for her future. That is, until Mark announced he was leaving. After 35 years of marriage, he wanted a divorce. Linda was blindsided. Beneath me, she'd later say, the divorce wasn't just emotional, it was financial devastation. Mark, a successful accountant, had controlled their finances. When the divorce finalized, Linda discovered their savings were drained. Mark had moved money into accounts she couldn't access, and the court settlement left her with their modest home but no cash to maintain it. Her part-time job at a local library barely covered groceries, let alone property taxes or medical bills. At 62, Linda faced a terrifying reality. She couldn't afford to live. She'd lie awake at night, her mind racing. "How am I supposed to survive?" she'd whisper to herself, staring at the ceiling. The house she'd raised her kids in was now a burden. Bills piled up, and collection notices stuffed her mailbox. Linda felt betrayed not just by Mark, but by the life she thought she'd earned. Linda had heard of Social Security, of course. She knew it was money you got in retirement, like a safety net for when you're too old to work. But she didn't know the details. She hadn't worked full-time in decades, focusing instead on raising their 2 kids while Mark climbed the corporate ladder. Her own Social Security benefits, based on her part-time work, would be tiny, maybe $600 a month, not enough to cover her bills. She felt trapped, like a bird in a cage with no key. Then, a chance conversation changed everything. At the library, a coworker mentioned Social Security spousal benefits money you can get based on your ex-spouse's work record. Even after a divorce, Linda's heart skipped. Could this be her way out? She wasn't sure, but for the first time in months, she felt a flicker of hope. Have you or someone you know ever faced a financial shock like Linda's? Drop a comment below and share your story. It might help someone else feel less alone. But would Social Security spousal benefits really save Linda? Or was it too good to be true? Keep watching to find out how she navigated the system and what she learned along the way. Deepening the challenge, Linda's hope was fragile, like a candle flickering in a storm. She sat at her kitchen table, surrounded by bills, and called the Social Security Administration SSA. The first call was a maze of automated menus and long hold times. When she finally reached a representative, the news wasn't what she expected. Yes, she qualified for spousal benefits because her marriage lasted over 10 years, and she was over 62 and unmarried. But the process wasn't simple. She needed documents: her marriage certificate, divorce decree, Mark's Social Security number, She had to prove her own benefits were lower than half of Mark's. The problem. Mark wasn't cooperative. When Linda reached out, he was dismissive, saying, "That's your problem now." Finding old documents was another hurdle. Linda rummaged through dusty boxes in her attic, her hands shaking as she sifted through memories of a life that no longer existed. The marriage certificate was there, but Mark's social security number. She had no idea where to find it. Her financial situation worsened. The bank sent a foreclosure notice on her home. Linda's daughter, Emily, offered to help, but she was a single mom with her own struggles. Linda couldn't bear to burden her. "I felt like I was drowning," Linda recalled, "and I didn't want to pull anyone else under with me." Her part-time job paid $12 an hour, but after taxes, it barely covered utilities. She skipped meals to save money, living on coffee and toast some days. The emotional toll was crushing. Linda had always been the optimistic one, the mom who baked cookies for her kids' school events and planned family vacations. Now she felt like a failure. She'd trusted Mark with their finances, and that trust had cost her everything. At night, she'd sit in her living room, staring at old family photos, wondering where she'd gone wrong. The betrayal stung, but the fear of losing her home and her independence was worse. She confided in her friend Susan, a retired teacher who'd navigated Social Security herself. Susan urged Linda to keep pushing. "Social Security is like a lifeline," Susan said. "It's there for you, but you have to grab it." Susan helped Linda search for Mark's Social Security number through old tax records they found in a forgotten file cabinet. It felt like a small victory, but Linda still faced a mountain of paperwork and uncertainty. Linda visited the local SSA office, a gray building that felt as intimidating as a courtroom. She brought her documents, her hands trembling as she handed them over. The representative was kind, but explained that processing could take weeks, maybe months. Linda's heart sank. Weeks. She didn't have weeks. Her mortgage payment was due. And the bank wasn't patient. She started researching online using the library's computer. She found the SSA website opening ssa.gov and learned that spousal benefits could give her up to half of Mark's benefit amount, potentially $1,400 a month. More than double her own benefit. Was approved, and any mistake could delay things further. Linda felt like she was running a race with no finish line in sight. Just when Linda thought she was close, she got a letter from the SSA. Her application was incomplete, missing a key document. Without it, she'd get nothing. Would she lose her home before she could fix this? And how would she find the strength to keep going? Have you ever dealt with confusing paperwork or bureaucracy? Share your experience in the comments. I bet Linda's story will resonate with you. Linda's life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. Again, she started gardening again, planting tulips that bloomed bright red in spring. She invited Emily and her grandkids over for Sunday dinners, filling the house with laughter. The betrayal still stung, but Linda felt empowered. She'd fought for herself and won. Social Security wasn't just money, she said. It was my second chance. Her story spread through her community. Neighbors asked her for advice, and Linda became a quiet advocate, helping others navigate the SSA. She even started a small support group at the library, where seniors shared their own stories of struggle and hope. Linda's journey showed her that even after loss is a way forward. Linda's story proves that Social Security can be a game changer, even in the darkest times. If this story inspired you or helped you understand spousal benefits, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories like hers. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, to never know who's struggling. Final engagement prompt: what's one thing you've learned about Social Security from Linda's story? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this conversation going. Linda's still in her home, tending her garden and rebuilding her life one day at a time. Her story reminds us that even when life feels like it's falling apart, there's hopes, sometimes in places you least expect, like Social Security. Spousal benefits. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.